Welcome back to the Skylounge Talk. My name is Fabian and today we have a special guest here. It's Keith from KC Designs. Nice to have you here.
I'm glad to be here.
You come from America all the way here back just for an interview, right?
Yeah. I've been wanting to for a while, and I finally got a chance to do it, and here I am.
I'm waiting for years to interview you, and now I have the perfect day, perfect lightning here today, and we are back to talk about different topics. The first one, everybody is interested, or maybe some knew or know his face. He's the guy standing behind the E36. You can see it on our website sometimes. I don't know where you can find it. He's standing there behind this blue E36, staying like this. Nobody really knows the car. It's very, very special, right?
Oh yeah, that's my baby there.
How you proceed, or what was the goal with this as you started doing it?
I wanted to build a I guess midlife crisis car.
midlife crisis car means you really want to go crazy.
I wanted to go back when I was younger. I did a lot of drag racing with Mustangs and stuff, and 69 Mustangs, and I got older and kids growing up, and I was like, you know what, I want to have fun again with cars. And I always liked the way BMWs handled from back then.
Yeah. And it's a driver's car.
Yeah. I was like, the Mustang's great in a straight line, but when it comes to handling, nah.
And then you decided to buy an E36, right?
Yeah, I was looking around, and I found this 93 325 IS that needed a lot of work. I was like, that's perfect.
It's the color is Asteria blue, right? Is it?
It's called Cobalt.
Cobalt, okay.
Cobalt Blue Fire Mist.
Jesus, I never heard about this color, but it's looking amazing. And many people don't know the car, so use Supercharger somehow.
Yeah, when I first got it, it was silver. I started fixing bushings and stuff like that, you know, typical old car stuff, and it was running pretty good. But I just felt like it needed more power.
Yeah, it's like you proceed, and stays come over, and the power feels less, and you want something new. How you achieve to get it supercharged?
Well, everybody was putting turbos on everything, and
turbos.
I do not believe in following anybody else's ways of doing things. I always want to go up and do my own thing. And from my early years of working with turbocharged cars, going back into the 80s with the Buick Grand Nationals and Thunderbird Turbo Coupes, and working on supercharged cars, I always liked the instant power you get with a supercharger. Yeah. And so I started shopping around for superchargers for it.
What was the first supercharger you bought for the car?
It was a Eaton M70 from a Thunderbird SC.
Ah, and that's where the first kit comes from?
That's where the first one came
from.
Okay,
cool.
I bought the supercharger, dirt cheap used, and sort of popped the hood and removed the air box, and I was like, all right, how am I going to make this
Just throw it inside and work.
I was like, I came up with an idea. I was like, well, I knew I was going to have to change the intake manifold. It just wouldn't fit, and I started working on the brackets, and then finally I blew the clutch out. Now I blew the clutch out and first gear. So while I was replacing the clutch and putting the ZF gearbox in, I said, this is a good time to put the supercharger on. And I just did it all in one shot, and that was it. Okay, we have the backstory for the superchargers, but how you met Hyde then? We know we have the M90 kit in our shop, but where's the... how you met Hyde? Well, that was kind of plays in with my car, because when I designed that and had it up and running, I really wasn't too good at tuning it. So I was going on the BMW forums to get some help, some suggestions,
it was very
mass airflow sensors, and you know, what could I use to get this thing run right and not run lean it on under boost. And that's where I ended up meeting Hyde.
So the crazy project meets a crazy guy.
Yeah. Well, he had the SC14. What do you call it? The V2?
The V2, yes.
Yeah, the V2 kit. And we started talking, and he's like, oh, what do you think about this? And he's like, I like that. And
very nice.
We just started collaborating, and he's like, yeah, what do you think about putting a bigger supercharger on it?
Sure, why not making it bigger?
It's like, well, I started out, I was like, well, I'm already making 12 pounds of boost with this M90. And he's like, look, I'm already sending you one, see if you can make it work.
So he sent you a new supercharger? The M1?
Yeah, the M122H.
Yeah. And then And was the car already running with the M90 or?
Oh yeah, I was running it, driving it. It was making almost 300 horsepower at the wheels.
That's nice.
Which was nice on a stock M50 V25 TU engine.
It is. And then just Hyde came and said, make it bigger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you said, okay.
Yeah, well, he sent it to me. I was like, oh, all right, I got it at my doorstep, so let me see what I can do. I had a 95 convertible sitting there, 325, that had parts taken off of it from somebody else. And I was like, well, the engine's still there. I used that for mocking it up and kind of worked out the brackets and how it was going to work and how it was going to fit. And I was like, all right, I sent him the plans. I said, all right, here it is.
What was the most painful part of creating the M1 now? What do you think?
Getting the angles just right so that the supercharger would clear the strut tower and still have enough room for the intake manifold and the master cylinder and brake booster, and just trying to get that just at the right tip so that way everything would fit without anything hitting.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, it's all started with a random guy sending you an M1 to the garage.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you said, okay, I'll do it. I manage it.
Yeah, I was like, what the heck, let me give it a shot. Honestly, I didn't think they were going to sell. I really didn't. When I designed the M90 for my car, I had no intentions on marketing it or nothing. It was just for my own driving pleasure. Yeah, but then he's like, there's people out there that want it, and turns out people did. As a matter of fact, I sold the M90 kit off of my car to one of the people that we were talking with in California. He's like, I like that, I want it. I was like, wow, maybe there is a market.
And then you created KC Designs, right? Or
yeah, KC Design Concepts LLC, just to be legal, and I don't have any problems in that.
How long would you say you've worked on the M1 kit?
The M1 kit, the very first M1 version 1.
Yeah.
I probably have maybe 6 months into it altogether, trying to find people that could weld the pieces that I need. I was making one prototype myself.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I drove it to BMW Fest East in New Jersey in 2017 with that supercharger on there. And I literally just finished it the night before installing it. There was no tuning done, no nothing. I had vacuum leaks, because I finished it up at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and then I got up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go to the car shop.
So my last question to the M1 kit and to the car is, how much horsepower do you think you have?
I know on the dyno it made a little over 650 at the wheels, but that was with the 2.3 liter TVS supercharger, because I upgraded superchargers along the way.
And you will upgrade it again now to our new superchargers.
Yeah.
That's what we use this for, right?
Yep.
So this is made by you?
It was co-designed between me and Chris.
Chris, yeah. And it's like an upgrade kit. You just put it up and the new supercharger above.
Yeah,
and then
the new Hyde Twin Screw Supercharger bolts to that plate, and then that plate will bolt directly to the M1 kit and the M1 V2. You
didn't test it yet, the new supercharger, right?
No. We're still working on the inlet part of it. We did have a design that was good for the smaller ones.
The smaller one like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily that one. I think it's the 2.1 liter. I have the 2.8. Of course, I had to put the biggest one on there that I can squeeze,
So you think this will get even bigger? You will gain more horsepower then?
Oh yeah, definitely. These superchargers are a lot more efficient than the old M series Eatons, and the twin screw. I mean, the TVS or twin vortices series were a good step up from the old M series. But the twin screw is like 2 steps past that. It's just, they're so much more efficient. They don't take as much power from the engine to run them. They're more than capable of over 2 bar of boost with no problem. Less heat, less parasitic drag, higher boost pressure. I mean, you want to make more power, unless you blow the engine apart, which is always a possibility.
What are you doing with all these horsepowers? I mean, I don't see many videos about your car, just some interview we had back in the days from another guy. What are you doing with 650 or more horsepower coming soon?
I'm going to be driving on the track. I love going on road courses.
Crazy.
Love it.
You really just drive.
Oh yeah, I love the hell.
And you will visit the Nürburgring here in
I
Germany?
definitely want to. That's
Oh,
like a bucket list dream. I want to go out there and
With your car?
Yeah, with my car.
Amazing. You need a sunny day for it. Rain
Oh
is,
yeah,
rain is horrible.
I'm not going to be in the the sub 7 club. I know that, but
it's just for driving by yourself, and then after round after round, you will figure it out.
yeah. I mean, the suspension, brakes, and everything. I've completely gone over the whole car. I mean, it's nowhere near what it was originally.
How much money you think you invested in it?
Probably is way too much. I should probably be put in a mental institution. The engine itself, I know I have close to 20,000 into it, building it. The rest of the car, I probably have another 40 into it. Yes, I could have bought a new M car.
Would you do it again?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Love it.
It's your baby. Amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. I really love the passion
Yeah.
even you have there behind your car.
Yeah.
It's an amazing car, and I wish I could visit you in America and just drive it once.
Well, if I bring it over here, I'll take you for a ride.
This will be very horrible. You know, Autobahn, no limits. This is, I think it's still a monster because it's lightweight somehow, and then 650 or whatever comes next in horsepower is crazy.
Yeah, and it has a lot of safety done into it too. I mean, all the reinforcement plates are well in, and it has a half cage and proper seats and harnesses. And yeah, I did finally, after I made it powerful, I was like, all right, maybe I should make it a little safe.
We talked a little bit before, and maybe you can give our viewers some hints for upcoming projects. What is your guess on it? What are you working on?
Well, mostly finishing off the twin screw superchargers. Not just making them fit the existing kits, but develop even new kits strictly for them, rather than using an adapter plate. Make something that's made just for them. What
is a new kit you could think of, or you're still already working on?
Well, the M1 I would like to eventually. I mean, we still want to make the adapter plate for the people that already have them.
Yeah.
But as you can see, a lot of the adapter plate, a lot of this you don't need. If you mount just this to a collection pan and to a bracket, you don't need most of the rest of it.
Yeah.
So it'll make it a lot smaller. It'll fit in there a lot easier. And you'll be able to, move things around.
Sure.
Makes it more versatile, using in different cars, because, it fits the E36 really good. It fits the E46s pretty well. But if you get into like the X3.
X3, with the V8.
It's a little bit different because of where some of the brake assembly and stuff is. It makes it a little difficult. But if I can make it so that it's more compact and keep the efficiency up, then it's it's a win-win.
And then you said you have an 850, no?
Right now, I have an 850 Ci that I'm putting a road track supercharger on that.
How really? I've never saw an engine bay on an 850. I know the car is very very brilliant.
Yeah.
It's small, right? It's very small.
The engine bay it's decent size for, I mean, it's an 8 series basically, but when you put the M70 V12 in there, it takes up a lot of it. It takes up a lot of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to put one of these on top of it, but there was just no way. It's a 60-degree V engine, so there's no way to put it down in there. And I was like, all right.
That's why you chose road tracks?
Yeah. We're going to put a C30 91, I think it is, on it.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a stock engine, it has a 6-speed, so we don't want to go crazy with boost.
Yeah, what do you think people can get out of these kits? How much horsepower do you think? It more or less likely feels daily drive when you say C30.
Well, boost-wise, I would say if you want to make it a true daily driver and not have any issues, not cause too many problems, I really wouldn't go above like 9 pounds of boost.
Yeah.
If you're somebody who's a weekend warrior and you want to go out and have some fun, you might be able to push up to 12 or 13.
Is it possible with the road tracks?
Oh yeah. Amazing. Change pulley and probably change the bypass valve spring.
So it feels like you bring the old 8 series back to new cars with new power, and then they can
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I mean, it might not be a huge market, but once again, it's, you know, there's going to be people out there that want a little extra punch, and they do sound kind of neat too.
Yeah.
And the guy that owns the car, he really wanted the Roadtrex anyway. He likes the sound of them, and
Let's talk about upcoming projects at the next time. We will end up this year. I hope you enjoyed it and have a nice day. Thanks for following. Jesus Christ. Cut it.
have a supercharged day.